have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is, wherever you are. This is Gail of Gaia, and this is Free Range, where we graze on wild ideas. And today I'm having a guest back that you're familiar with, because we're doing a little series on the universal vision for humanity and the different visions that we can have and hold in our minds. And we'll go over that because we are going to talk about conscious creation. And Michelle Marie Angel has written a book, several books actually, but this is the one we're going to be referring today, and it is a new world after all, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So let me bring Michelle on. Welcome, Michelle.
Hi, Gail. How are you today?
I'm pretty good. I heard a couple of glitches in my intro there. I might have to reload it.
Oh, I didn't notice those.
Oh, really? Maybe I just heard it on my end. I don't know. Anyway, but I'm so happy to have you back, and so happy to be able to present this type of material to my listening audience, because I think it's very helpful, and it's what we need to concentrate on instead of all the chaos and craziness going on around us. Oh, and I might add, and I forgot while I think of it, I have up on the screen Twitch TV/Gail222. If you watch the video there and you want to ask questions, that's where you can ask questions and they'll come up and I'll be able to see them. So if you do have any questions during the course of this presentation, feel free to do that. So that's what that's up there for. So, okay, back to you, Michelle. Sorry about that.
No, that's great. That's great. That'd be great if we had questions.
Yes. Well, there was a couple of things that I think that you brought out in your book that we can, elaborate on a little bit, because there's so much in there, and I can't believe all the poetry and prose that you have there is amazing, and it's really heartfelt, and awareness is there. You just see it. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Let's see. We have there's a quote from the book on. It says, "By our attention toward pure intentions, we master our lives." Would you care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, actually, when we pay attention to what we pay attention to, it's true. It's what monitoring our attention, because if you think about it, whatever you give your attention to, you're giving energy. And so whether you're giving energy to positive things or negative things or whatever, you're helping it to exist because you're giving it energy. And in my book, actually, I'm not sure if this one or the other one, but I talk about the absolute value of attention. And so let's just say you're giving attention to war, or you're giving attention to, anti-war. You're still giving attention to war, and so you're giving it attention. So when we do the visioning, now that we know we're conscious creators of reality, we're imagining how we want the world to be, and we do things like vision lifting, which is one of my workshops is about that. But what you do is you take your attention off, a miscreation or what's wrong or a problem, and then you create a solution in your imagination, and you create that solution, and you hold it in your mind, and it really helps to watch where you're placing attention. So it's good to watch and see what's going on in the world, but we need to balance that and go a little bit, beyond dwelling on the problems and focus on solutions.
Very much so. That's great. And I try to bring people on my shows that have solutions to some of these things. But this is a very basic solution that everybody has to get, and I don't think many people actually get it. Because I used to think that when they said you create your own reality, I said, "Oh, baloney! I don't believe it." And the reason I said that was because there's so many control factors that are in our life. But you do have a choice when it comes to, are you going to be happy? Are you going to focus on positive or negative? So,
Yeah, and we have been programmed, and we have been disempowered in that way. And even if we create our own reality and how we do it, we still need reminders, because it's like swimming upstream. Most of the world doesn't do that or know that yet. It's catching on more and more now, and we're doing group meditations and group visionings like we're going to do tonight. And so we're more and more, we are focusing on what we want to create. We want to have healthy people, and a clean environment, and peace and harmony on earth. And the more we think about those intentions, and create pictures in our mind, and actually live in it in our imagination, and get really engrossed in the experience, even though it's imaginal, it does reflect back from the universe and create our own reality.
I muted myself. Sorry. That's one of the thing. That's one of the things that I think one of the purposes of having this type of show is to help people realize that, and realize how we can change things with just by changing our thinking, for that matter. We are creating our reality. It's all about perception. And if we're perceiving things and not really realizing how we're affecting our reality, it's a problem.
Well, we didn't really realize that where we place our attention is what we're creating. And so that's why all the propaganda, TV shows, movies, and everything, the nefarious ones would come up with all these things that they wanted to create,
Yes.
And that's why we have predictive programming and stuff like that, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not by accident. And
well,
but
I love this poem you have, and what's great about it, the one on page 160. It's on 160.
Okay. Are you going to read it?
If I'd like to, because I think it has a lot to say.
Oh, good. Well, as you know, I love it when you read my poetry.
Okay. Well, hopefully I don't, miss anything, but here we go.
Oh,
yeah. I think it increases awareness for people because it makes you think just from the words and so on. So anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Here we go. When humans understand how love transforms, distorted perceptions are no more. The reality we create as experience on earth will render peace and harmony as we yield the birth of what we imagine and feel inside, from perceived suffering when true self hides, to consciously creating in the flow of life's love, experiencing exactly what our dreams are made of. In the stillness and silence where we reach our core, our expansive awareness feeds illusions no more. The voice of our soul sends our thought through our feelings, the wisdom of mastery of life and its dealings. Drawing wisdom from feelings, we now clearly see how to use the physics of oneness that new senses perceive, transforming all energy with love's intention, using consciousness wisely, directing our attention. Attention now reserved for the ideas we choose to form into physical reality, mistakes no longer born. Harnessing energy from which all is created, we love, we create the peace long awaited. As we accept the darkness and love, it is as well. We melt all with the light as wisdom will tell. The transformation of energy to what we enjoy renders feelings of delight, and life is our toy. No longer wrestling or resisting outer reality, expressions of love form our personality. While love transforms in our individual space, it becomes the energy of the world in every case. We are now awake with awareness of all and how self fits in answering life's call. We shine our own light, we hone who we are, increasing our luminosity is a bright love star.
That's what we all are. We're becoming bright love stars. Yeah. I mean, we can see people waking up and, ascending to higher consciousness all over the place. There's evidence everywhere, and that's why a lot of things are coming up for healing and coming up for exposure so that we can heal it and change it and focus on solutions. But I really have a very optimistic outlook. I feel like people really are waking up and joining together and creating our new world. And yeah, there's a cleanup time and exposure and changing of the guard and everything. But
Well, what's interesting in this exposure thing is the healing factor and empowering people from going from, and you have a poem about this too, going from a victim to a creator.
oh yeah,
And that's I'm going to have to read this one too. I hope people don't mind, but I think it's really, it just says it
oh,
all.
I love that one, and I can't wait till after you read it. I'm going to tell you what inspired me to write it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, yes, yes. That's why I wanted to bring this one up because I remember reading about that. Okay. Victimization once perceived, clearly illusions now relieved. Empowered by soul, nature unfolds. New story now to be told. Each life is impacting, 'tis the universe reacting. Sparks of soul igniting, past uniting. Consciously creating essence of soul, being inwardly, outwardly whole. Harmonizing with all that is, deep sensation of being this. Power of consciousness is the key. Changes within individually. Personal impact, realization upon total world, every nation. Creating with visions, feelings of heart. New world experience, this is the start. Energy of compassion, tool to create. World wake up. Don't hesitate.
Yeah, don't
Excuse me, I
hesitate.
was holding back a cough.
Well, boy, when I wrote that, it was like, the shock that everybody went through at 9/11, at the time of 9/11 and so forth. It was like very shocking, worldwide shock, worldwide awe, worldwide compassion. And it was just such a worldwide catastrophe. It affected everyone's heart because we're naturally united, empathic, compassionate people. And I know there was like a measurement, and I think it was Greg Braden that brought it up. They have a way to measure the energy, and that day the world spiked with because of the compassion, unified compassion. And so I didn't know at that time what all we were going to be waking up to when I wrote that. Even because I didn't know, I was not aware of the truth behind the narrative at that time. I just knew that it was a wake-up call for humanity, and that compassion would see us through. And I still think that ever since then, and what we're going through now, it is horrendous, and we definitely need to stay at that level of compassion, because it really takes understanding, compassion, helping one another, unifying to gain our strength and courage. And we just really need to love one another and help one another at this time in human history.
And it's one of those things that if one person stands up, then another person, then another person, then another person, then another person. And that's what we need to happen.
Yeah, and not just standing up, but waking up. One person wakes up, and then they wake up many more people, and then the whole light of the truth is being broadcast. And that's why I keep referring to the changing of the guard. I actually referred to that. I didn't mention that poem before, but it's called Inheritance. And I've always known in my soul that I was going to live through this thing in the divine plan called the changing of the guard. And if that's not what we're in right now, I don't know what, because we have all these people who were like officials in government, in the judicial system, systemic corruption, actually, systemic corruption.
That's a good way of putting it.
Worldwide.
Gangrene
And
of the
so
government.
changing of the guard requires exposure, and then you have to refrain. You have to, stop people from doing the nefarious negative things. Some of them are stepping down now. Some of them have been removed from office or corporate positions and so forth. I do believe that's happening now more than we really realize. But it's going to come out to the public more. And, we could even cite examples in present day times, such as, everything that Twitter is exposing. Mm-hmm. Susan Wojcicki from YouTube, recently stepped down. And
really?
Yeah.
Well, good. She took my channel down.
I know. That's what she gets. Oh no. But so really it might end up being like Twitter, where somebody good comes in and takes over, and people maybe will get their channel back and their videos back. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be great. Yeah, you get your subscribers back too. I mean, you lost everybody. I've had several people saying, I can't find you. Where are you? Kind of thing. And not everybody is familiar with the different platforms that you become familiar with as a podcaster or doing shows like this, because you have to become familiar. But anyway, here we are. That will be good. There is a lot happening. In fact,
the old ones are gone and the new ones are coming in, and we're in that transition right now.
Do you know what I heard? Now, I can't verify this, or I haven't had any chance to confirm it, so keep that in mind. But I got a message today that said that the Biden crime family is being arrested.
I actually had heard that. I didn't hear it today. I heard it a little while back. But wouldn't it make sense, because they cannot no longer suppress the laptop?
Yeah.
Everybody knows of the dealings that they've had in China and Ukraine and, who knows where else. All of the ties to the different companies and the nefarious legal teams and so forth. All of this stuff is coming to light. How can it not come to truth? And how can they not be arrested when, most of the population knows the truth? Just because it wasn't addressed by our, weaponized.
We're not as stupid as they think we are.
Right, exactly.
What it boils down to. Yeah, I had heard they were supposed to be doing this a long time ago, actually, in some ways, but I never knew if they actually did. This person said that it came from Fox News. Now that,
wow,
yeah, that's big if it's true, because they're just as nefarious as the rest of them. But that would be mass media to be putting it out there. So.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. If we're taking the media back, then the truth is going to start coming out there anyway. Mm-hmm. If Twitter got taken over, then CNN can get taken over, and all the rest of them can get taken over. And I think that we're just on the brink, just at the beginning of those things happening and taking the media back. I mean, the fact that they deceived so many people and what happened as a result of that deception, we cannot go on forever without justice and exposure. And it truly is happening, from what I see.
Oh, from what I see too, and I believe it is happening, and it's absolutely critical that it does happen, because we don't want if this doesn't crumble and come to an end, we don't want to live in that environment anymore at all. So moving right along, not only are we taking, people need to take their power back that has been taken away from them through programming,
Yeah.
through society, through drills, through just outright, this is social engineering is another word for it, which
I watched it. It's also called conditioning, programming, education. All those words fit.
yeah.
And I watched it happen in the public school system,
Oh
both
yeah.
to students and teachers. And, they were doing those active drill, active shooter drills, of course. At the same time, they were taking over departments, and people were losing their retirements while they were creating public-private partnerships. And so, I was witness to that, and I knew the energy was strange, and I watched it, but primarily I remember seeing kids come in with a certain, attitude or mindset, and then going out with, they've been conditioned.
Wow.
They've been programmed to think of a certain thing, and some of it was actually directly related to the military and how the military had a presence and recruited out of the
Wow.
schools and would entice them, right at the school. Things were done. It's mandatory education. Why would you try to inculcate people to get something that's not good for you? For example, inoculations that may have something bad for you in them, or
Oh, they do have something. They are a bioweapon, and I'm not afraid to say that because I'm not on YouTube. But
well, and this was back when the H1N1, actually what I'm referring to right now, and I
it's
actually
just another scam, just like the rest of them, weaponized.
yeah. Well, they have aluminum, mercury, and squalene, and I didn't want to be a pusher because we were supposed to say everybody should get a regular flu shot and the H1N1. And my conscience wouldn't let me do that. I didn't feel like that was right. I was brought up to use natural medicine and supplements and things like that. And I remember one time I was teaching at a lab, and without saying anything, I just made a list of, natural immune supplements on the board, and just, they were there if they wanted to read them.
That's good. Yeah. As they say, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink.
Yeah.
Acceptance is another, and then connection to source and unity, the universal vision. Maybe we should talk about what is the universal vision as you see it.
Well, the universal vision is, there's a blueprint. I mean, God has a divine plan. It's a whole scene basically that portrays the victory of the light. So we know that light triumphs over darkness. That's the way it is. And so the scenario plays out, and each person has a blueprint for their soul. Well, each person's blueprint, if you just think about everybody's blueprint and them discovering their life purpose or their life mission, and each person plays their part in the divine plan, really. So in order to get your blueprint, you basically, everybody can, tune into spirit and download the context of their blueprint, which is the divine plan. And so the universal vision that everybody sees as the context is the divine plan. And you can just intuit certain things, like I knew that there was going to be a changing of the guard. That came from within. And I first published this book in 2005. That was before any of these other things were happening. You're muted.
Yeah. This one here. That's when you, in 2005?
Yeah. I originally published that in 2005. Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we have been in a situation where our perceptions are what create our reality, and they keep our perceptions at a very low frequency with fear. And
Yeah.
how many good stories do you see ever coming from the news?
Well, I don't. I started meditating a long time ago, and I really had some guidance that went against the grain in terms of traditional, typical people and ways of living. And I
Same
had
here.
very strong and clear divine guidance. And one was stop watching TV. I had it 20 years ago,
Yeah,
and I
yeah, I
quit.
threw mine out years ago.
Yeah,
Over
yeah,
probably almost 20 years ago, or maybe.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, so I don't watch the news technically, even though I say that. But I mean, that's how
Well,
people
we
get
know what
programmed.
we're up against, and we know actually if you see people's behavior, you can pretty much determine where they get their information. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Like responses to COVID, for an example. You know, like the
Exactly.
more that bought into it, the more you realized where they were getting their information, and the ones that didn't. And also in terms of getting information, some people got information like truthful information from real doctors like Dr. Sherry Tenpenny. And in addition, when you meditate, you get information from inside, and you're attuned to truth. And if someone says something, and it just doesn't feel right, then you're like, you want to look into it more and find, these people that are revealing the truth. So it's kind of like inner, where this doesn't feel right. I mean, to me, it was sort of obvious if they're going to, coerce you by giving you donuts and a chance to win a lottery and all this other stuff. It was
Paying
really
people $100, giving them $100 bill too. Oh my God! And how exploitative can you get when you're dealing with low income people? That's
it's not just
just
low income
disgusting.
people. It's people that were trusting professionals and so-called experts and people with all these titles in the government, titles in the medical community. It was a huge
Authority figures.
yeah, yeah, huge deception. And that's why I think that there's a great revival, in that direct connection to God, where you seek answers within, is imperative. We need that inner knowing. We need that higher intelligence. Everybody needs to like bend their knee and humble themselves and say, I don't know everything. And please inform me. I can learn something new today. I would like to know the truth. And why does this feel weird? Because it doesn't seem, something feels off. And I think that's why there's so many truth researchers, because, we do have inner intelligence.
Yeah, everybody knows something wrong, something's wrong, but they just can't put their finger on it.
Yep.
And there is something wrong. There's corruption all over the place.
And people trusted the media, and that was a big displacement of trust. Because here's the thing I learned a long time ago. I remember my best friend's dad said to me one time, he said, Michelle, just because you're honest and wouldn't hurt anybody doesn't mean everybody's like that. You really have to watch out, because I was like trusting of everyone. I just thought everybody was great. Everybody was good. Everybody, would be nice. And I found out that wasn't true. And I don't know what happened. I don't remember the experience why he had to tell me that, but I'm sure there was something that was like, what? Not everybody's nice to everybody? Not everybody's honest? What? Yeah. And honestly, the people that got deceived, they're just really good and innocent. And that's the evolution of our consciousness, I believe, is that we are learning to, the new element that's being interjected into our consciousness is that discernment of motives and intentions. And I believe I even read that one time in one of Dr. David Hawkins' books about consciousness. But so the people that are duped and deceived aren't necessarily bad. They could just be really nice, innocent people, so good that they think,
I have family members like that. Yeah,
Pardon me?
I have family members like that. They believed in the authority figures, which we have been programmed extensively and heavily to do without critical thinking to go with it.
And slowly over time, like the frog in the boiling water, turn up a little more heat, turn up a little more MK Ultra mind control at a time.
Yes. And it works so well when people are in fear.
Yeah. And remember that book, Behold a Pale Horse by Bill Cooper? Well, that he wrote that they were going to have active shooters, that they were going to have shooters. And the plan was, to make people think that these are just random crazy people and we need to take away the guns. That was a plan way a long time ago. And people that reveal their plans get killed, which he did.
Yeah. Yeah, he revealed a lot of stuff. And it's a shame that
God bless all the people that died for revealing the truth.
Yes. Some of them we will find out went into witness protection programs or protection programs, whatever you call it, because they couldn't handle the situations that they were in.
Yes, I'm definitely aware of that, but I'm also aware that if you give your life, you will have eternal life anyway. You don't really lose your life.
Yes,
but
yes,
when you stand for what's right, you have more light and more life, and there are soul rewards, I believe, for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest issues with that are the people that are left behind and the pain involved in missing them and that kind of thing.
Believe me, I know that firsthand.
Yeah. So there's another poem, Waking Up in Transformation.
Oh, that one's great. I wouldn't mind reading that one. What page are we on?
That would be good. The transformation one is on 70 and 71.
Okay. Okay, waking up and transformation. And then I'll tell you what inspired me to write this one.
Okay.
So the whole world, we're all waking up in transformation. And this was an interesting time period. It kind of carries on from something I already told you, which I'll explain in just a minute. O'er land and sea did they travel, mysteries of life to unravel. Observe the human nature change, mind, body, soul rearranged, waking up in transformation. Still sleepy, not out of incubation, wonders of new life form now, feelings, senses change somehow. Smacks of oneness in spirituality, confirmed by science in reality. Awareness shift for man's outward leap, conscious now, going in deep. Emerging senses of peace and love, different perspective below and above. Waking up in transformation, dormant senses experience elation. Body acquiring ever more chi, yoga balancing new energy. Words emanating from mind to yield, increasing reception from unified field. Stillness, quiet, meditation, forever altering man's vibration. Hearts absorbing cosmic love, oneness thread so spoken of. Woven through all aspects of being, man is now conclusively seeing, no longer to be hypnotized, soul connection realized. Waking up in transformation, sending out more invitations, conscious intentions, goodwill toward all. Expanding awareness, inner call. Constant practice of meditation, heightening, expanding, new revelation. Inner wisdom surfaces as intuition. Dreams come true as its fruition. Enlightenment consciousness begins to exist. Lower thought forms no longer persist. Changing, transforming those who partake. Conscious beings do they make. Pillars of light and energy, creating a new reality. That's where we are as humanity right now. Waking up in transformation.
Yes,
Creating reality.
Yep.
So it was about that time. It was after 9/11 that I went to a conference, and it was Business and Consciousness Conference, and it was in Acapulco, Mexico. And there were a lot of great speakers there, including Greg Braden. He was there. And my friend, Dr. Susan Campbell was there. And we became really good friends after that. Let's see, The Way of the Peaceful Warrior author, that was Dan Millman. He was there. A lot of great people were there. I think there were like over 400 people. And we got together in different groups and did different activities. And, you know, I always felt like I was connected to the collective consciousness, like I could read the energy. And I felt like I had this message from the souls that crossed over at 9/11. And I delivered it when I was, you know, at one of these groups in the conference. And the message was this: we came here, we did what we came here to do. Now, please make it worth it. In other words, the baton is handed over to us who are left, and we need to finish the job of the transformation and waking up.
In other words, they sacrificed themselves.
Well, as souls
in this lifetime.
Yeah, there are no accidents. And, you know, we sign up for things before we come in. So, you know, as souls, they knew, and it was part of their contract to play that role, and they did it. But it was a big sacrifice, and their family sacrificed. And, you know, it's up to the people left to expose the truth and, you know, help with this transformation of consciousness.
Yeah, that's really I like this very last line where it says enlightenment consciousness begins to exist. Lower thought forms no longer persist.
Yeah.
That's where humanity needs to take their power back, because we've been programmed to feel small, helpless.
Exactly. We are empowered by the truth, and we're set free by the truth. I mean, think of people that learned the truth. The most recent example is always, you know, the COVID ordeal that we have been and still are going through. But the people that woke up in the beginning about the truth, they didn't go along with the agenda to begin with.
Exactly.
Other people woke up and stopped going along. Now there's so many people waking up, they're not going to get away with the shenanigans. Like, what is the WHO think that they're going to take, control over national governments or something, and that they have control? No, they're not going to get away with it. Too many people are awake. They don't get control or power unless we give it to them, and we're not going to give it to them. We are empowered. You know, they used to, I'll tell you what, they used to have many people in fear. And now what I believe is they fear many people.
Oh, yeah, that was the big nightmare that they never wanted to happen, for the people to be aware of the things that they are doing from, you know, and some are extremely horrific things that they're doing. It's not just money shenanigans. It goes, you know, deeper than that.
Right.
But anyway.
Well, I just want to say something since we're on that. A really good example that I just love right now is there was a victory in Naples, Collier County, Florida. Karen Kingston, they sent some COVID money back. She showed that it was a bioweapon. She had all her documents and proof and everything. She showed the Florida law that said if you're involved in this in any way, you could get life in prison. And it was unanimous. They voted to send that money back. And I hold the intention and the vision that kind of truth and that kind of activity spread like,
Wildfire.
all around the United States in every county. And exposure continues. And what did people have to do to get that money? And what did hospitals have to do to get COVID money? What were their incentives? Who did they come from? Why did so many people die? Dr. Brian Ardis exposed the remdesivir and the protocols that people were made to go on. Right here in my own town, Dr. Littell got kicked out of a Sarasota Memorial Hospital board meeting because he was.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Ivermectin. And so the day after he got kicked out, something came out in the paper saying, oh, Sarasota Memorial Hospital had such a perfect, great COVID-19 response. And it was just cover up, hogwash. No one believes it. Very few people believe it, if at all. And it was obviously meant to cover up. And those things keep boomeranging because when things come up like that, more and more exposure comes, And I just want to give credit also to Chris Nelson, who brought that out on Twitter and exposed some of the videos there. And then also some of the people who have had relatives die from organ failure and from lack of nutrition and all the things that happen when they go on the protocol of remdesivir, ventilators, keeping people away so they don't know what they're up to, keeping the advocates away, and all that's being exposed right now. So I'm so sad for the people that lost loved ones, but I'm so happy for the exposure because it's got to stop, right?
Yeah. Yes. Oh, yes. I was trying to put out warnings when it all started with, I had Judy Mikovits, I had Sterling Hill and Sherry Saunders, all from, in healthcare and backgrounds. And we came out, we told them the masks were worthless. We weren't calling it a bioweapon, but don't get the vaccine. It didn't even fit the description of a vaccine. But it was hard to get people to listen. It really was.
But people tried their best, and a lot of people did listen. And Judy Mikovits, she's definitely one of the heroes of our time. And she's a real warrior. And what she went through, oh my goodness. She went through stuff, like we were talking about David Icke last time and everything he went through when he started coming out. She went through,
they arrested her and escorted her off a plane over a mask because she had her own colloidal silver type mask. And, well, not colloidal silver, but it was a silver, had silver in it. Anyway,
but yeah,
it's people have, and by the way, I don't know, I recently got a death threat. Yeah, that's what I said. And so, not all my shows are about things of this nature. Some of them are, talk about politics type stuff. And anyway, it's concerning. But I know I'm protected.
Yeah. And so, part of our vision, we can, we'll be eliciting different intentions as we go along. But I truly intend that the exposure happens and that the harm stops, it should be illegal, and like, I can't remember who it was, but they were like in Idaho or somewhere, one of those I states, they were going to make it a misdemeanor for administering any mRNA shots. And someone else said, misdemeanor.
No,
that's not enough.
Premeditated murder.
It's murder. Yeah, murder is not a misdemeanor.
No.
It's a start that you're not going to allow that practice. But
and they want immunity because they'll say they didn't know or some kind of qualified immunity. No, not at this point. I can understand maybe in the very initial stages falling into the trap, but not anymore. any doctor or nurse, pharmacist, you name it, that's pushing this at this stage of the game, you better watch out. You better get informed, and you better just stop it.
Yeah, this is truly a war against good and evil, and each person is making a choice. And I had mentioned choice point on the last time we spoke, but
Yes.
these are choice points. You do the right thing, and you might have to sacrifice your job, or you might speak out and get fired, or you might have to leave
You
your
might,
job and do
you
something
might
else.
get a death threat. No.
Well,
I
not
mean,
just
it
threats.
happened. Yeah.
They've murdered many people. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nothing to them. I mean, I just saw a list of the Clinton
Oh yeah.
body count. That was quite extensive. But anyway, moving right along, back to the book for a moment.
Moving back to what we're going to create, the solution.
Yes, 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 yes. But these kinds of truths are important to come out.
That's what we have to clean up. Clean up on planet Earth. Calling all
Yes,
warriors. Clean up on
yes,
planet Earth.
exactly, exactly. Okay, the next area that we could bring up is about freedom, where you talk about freedom. Freedom
Oh,
rests in our mind.
yes. Oh, yeah. So yes, that's really good. That's the thing, because what kind of war is this? It's a war on people's mind. It's a war for their
Yes,
thoughts. It's a war
psychological.
for
Yeah,
their perceptions. And so, I didn't know anything about MK Ultra and taking over people's minds
or the
a while,
Tavistock
back.
Institute. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, a while back. And then mass mind control with the media and everything.
Yes, with patents that they actually have,
Yes,
that
I
they're
know.
mind controlling us. That's why I don't watch the TV. That's why people
Experience.
need to get away from it. Yeah.
Yeah. And they downright, kidnapped people and did all kinds of horrible things, like at the Montauk Project and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm going to read just the quote on this section, freedom, and then also the poem, because the poem is really good.
Okay.
Freedom. Freedom rests in our mind. We can claim it in its totality in any moment. We can claim global freedom by using directed, synergized group consciousness focused on solutions. And that is the gist of what we're talking about today and what we're actually doing, because every time we set an intention and do a vision, whether we do it together, whether we do it virtually, whether we do it individually and it matches other people's intentions, we're creating that morphogenic field, and it keeps growing and getting stronger. So this poem is called Freedom is Free, and it's talking about freedom of mind, because we need to get our mind away from others who would usurp our power, especially to vision, and use it for what conscious creation and what we want to create. So here's the poem, Freedom is Free. When we empty our mind from which we create, we can choose a new scene with a brand new slate. In our imagination, we can dream what we desire. All things are possible when love is on fire. When all beliefs are suspended, removing limitation, we enjoy the freedom of our own creation. We have free will and can stand our ground. We can use freedom of mind no matter who's around. The passion of love from our soul through our heart is the energy we use to find our life's part. This connection, once found and secured in place, is infinite and free, though we don't see a trace. We each have a blueprint for the life that we live. We take life from God and choose what we give. When we surrender to life and discover our calling, freedom follows to create any gift without stalling. When we stop and focus our attention inside and get totally present with all senses open wide, we imagine with love as joy shines on our face. We get what we want in our own little place. If we can really believe and our dreams come true, life will follow suit in our outer view. All we have to do is nothing, just be. It doesn't cost anything. Freedom is free. So
That's
I
good.
wrote that again a long time ago. It's more relevant and timely now than, because like I said, I didn't know about all of the purposeful, intentional ways that they were, usurping our minds. I've learned a lot since I wrote that poem, but now it's even more timely and relevant to me, because of what I know now. And then the essay part, the section, was also sort of uncanny because it was my intuition. I mean, sometimes, it's like downloads, intuition, stream of consciousness, whatever you want to call it. But this beginning part, I mean, tell me if this doesn't make more sense now than it would have 18 years ago. I wrote, nothing, breaking out of boxes. Nothing is the same anymore. Nothing. As much as we try, and some of us are trying awfully hard, we can't fit into any of the old boxes anymore. Even if we fit, the box is not serving its purpose. It's all for naught. The work boxes, the religion boxes, the relationship boxes, the political boxes, educational boxes, all the boxes that we've created are disintegrating. That's because it was based on the old paradigm, and the old paradigm way of living based on material reality is breaking down rapidly. The new paradigm way of living is emerging. It is based on the freedom and expression of spirit. We can express divine love by reclaiming our own personal freedom and honoring the freedom of others. By using the power of our creative will, we can live any way we choose. We can eliminate our false perceptions that keep us in jail. Then we can eliminate outer manifestations of power and control. Whether parental, institutional, governmental, or commercial, these perceived sanctions against our freedom are really disintegrating in their power. When they are in alignment with the highest good of all, they are serving their purpose. However, many people have abused positions of power due to ill intentions, ignorance, or greed. Their time is up. Doesn't that mean more now than like way back then?
Yes, you were onto something already. Yeah,
Yeah.
visionary. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, this book is about vision, poetry and prose to inspire a new world vision. I was getting ready, I guess. Getting
Yes.
ready for now.
Yeah, now's the time. It really is,
Yeah.
and it's such an important time to be a part of the move. Get Earth on the right track. Take our planet back. Take our own power back.
Yeah.
Take our
Yeah.
country back.
Absolutely.
Take our
And,
state back. Take it down to the local level. Take back what's going on in your health department, in your state, or in your city that you know is wrong.
And I think that this book shakes people out of complacency because it awakens that part of you that knows all this is true, that already knows it. And, it just wakes people up and says, oh, I'm not the only one feeling that way. Oh, you articulated my feelings. Oh, that's really what's going on. And where do we go from here? So it goes from that, which is soon to be former, to the future, which we're creating. And that's really empowering. And everybody's playing a role. And sometimes it just takes being unified. And this book helps to unify people. And I think I even said in it, you're not alone. I'm articulating what this, group consciousness, this collective is going through. And everybody has their own version. But I think that everybody can relate to what's in this book because of it's about the awakening and the transformation of consciousness and empowerment and freedom to create and withdraw from that old world and, step into our power again where we can be free.
Yes, we must be free. That's why I created free range too.
Yeah, we're both on the freedom trail.
Yes. Anyway, after we talk about freedom, the next thing that everyone's concerned about is, when is humanity going to experience their abundance?
Oh, yeah. I love that. So, yeah, I do want to talk about abundance. Let's see. I think I have this right here. Oops. Yeah. All right. So, security. Oops. I had the wrong page, I think. But the name of the poem was Feeling Abundance. So I guess there's no accident. I'll read this first and then I'll read that part about that's actually named abundance. Security, according to the American Heritage Dictionary, is inner confidence and trust in receiving life's provisions. In our new world, this is realized through a system of unified cooperation of caring and sharing inner and outer resources. Okay, and we have resources for truth, by the way. And my friends and I share videos and truth channels and information, and that's all part of it. So I'm going to read the Feeling Abundance poem, and then I'll get back to the really fun one that I told you about. It's already here. That's really good too. Okay, feeling abundance. Security is a feeling of having plenty to live. It emanates from inside as we feel free to give. We share what we have and know there's enough for all. We are our brother's keepers, life's true protocol. Our abundance of food, served with love's preparation, is masterfully distributed throughout every nation. Now, keep in mind, this is a vision. And if we hold the vision while I say the words, we're bringing in this new reality. Food from gardens throughout our community. We cook for our neighbors and celebrate unity. We trade our skills, creations, our extras and such. Not a human on earth does poverty touch. The opulence of God's bounty is shared with great joy. With dignity and pride, our talents we employ. By sharing and trading, we're not hooked on money. The feeling of caring in our hearts makes us sunny. We're shining with love as we share and cooperate. Our past commercial values we liberate. We are free to live as naturally as we please. We have a bountiful lifestyle, one of ease. We create from our hearts with pure creativity. We choose and love each activity. Our new security is as stable as our inner love. We feel it inside. It fits like a glove. With full trust, we receive abundant provisions. The energy we share comes back with precision.
That's
And that's
wonderful.
and that's how people, people are going through a lot, but we're all helping each other. We care for a neighbor. We might just go help somebody who just went through a hurricane or earthquake or something like that. I remember I was teaching school in middle northern Florida, and Hurricane Andrew came by, and
Yeah, that was another bad one.
yeah. And so I actually collected money and supplies and ended up getting like all the stuff on the list they said they needed, like toothpaste, toothbrushes, basic stuff, that in a disaster, you just, when you leave, you don't, grab your toothbrush or,
Yeah.
diapers for babies, stuff like that. And a friend of mine and I drove it down. It was about 5 or 6 hours away down in Homestead, and we dropped those off. And a friend of mine just told me she was doing the same thing for, I think it was people in Syria. They were getting like care packages together and sending them to people. And, that's really our security. We do care for one another, and we do what we can, whether it's locally, and we do it locally. And we also, care about people that are far away too, because, well, sometimes we know we have friends and relatives that are far away.
Well, humanity, we're all connected.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. We're connected through our hearts, hearts and souls. We really are made out of love. It's all love.
Well, we were created in love, and that's what we search for all the time.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. All right. Now I'm looking for the one. Okay. It's already here. It's on page 102. All right. I love this because it's just kind of sweet and silly, but true, you know.
Is this another vision, or what is this one?
This is the one that I told you about that we would finish up before the vision.
Oh, okay.
How are we doing? Are we doing
Oh,
good
we're
on?
fine. We're
Okay.
at 1 hour. We have,
Oh, okay.
any time at this point.
And we're getting toward the end. Okay, this one is the section is called abundance. And true abundance is a deep sense of fulfillment. It is the satisfaction of the heart's only desire, love. And here's the fun, uplifting, gratitude-based poem. It's about trusting God. Okay. All right.
Okay.
This one's called "It's Already Here." If you're looking for anything, there's no reason to fear. Look inside, you'll see that it's already here. Believe it or not, the truth of your being is making up everything that you're seeing. Whatever it is you wish to have or give, with love and vision, it's what you can live. What about love, the special person for me? Inside there is love, just let it be. Let it blossom as you express who you are. Your love will attract them. You won't have to go far. What about material things that I need? Look inside and plant the seed. Feel the feeling. Picture that you have it. It will come right to you. Reach out and grab it. Trust God in your heart to supply every need. There's plenty for all, no reason for greed. Feel your abundance. Be of good cheer. Express deep gratitude that it's already here.
That's wonderful.
You
Yeah.
know, and expressing,
Gratitude is
yeah,
so important.
exactly. Expressing deep gratitude that it's already here. Greg Braden wrote a book called The Isaiah Effect, and he was talking about the last piece of prayer is, you're supposed to give thanks that you already had it and it's already been answered. And so, and that's that faith that turns into knowing and visioning. Actually, I was explaining this to someone the other day, but if you use visioning and you use repetition and feeling, you sort of reverse engineer memory. So instead of having a experience that creates a memory, you can have a memory implanted in your subconscious mind that creates an experience, and that works. That works. And so I actually made a YouTube video called Success Stories. And because I've used this conscious creation many times to manifest things or find something, and I've just been like a scientist, At first it was just a accidental, but I realized, wait a minute, that manifestation happened fast. I was just thinking about that, and then it happened, and then I started doing it consciously on purpose, and then I was like, hey, this works. This is awesome. I'm going to do it more often and consciously. And then later I used group consciousness, which is even more powerful. And that's why we come together like on the show and do the group visioning. And I also have a class actually every Friday. We do shared visions, and we focus on one clear, concise intention at a time. And we have a gratitude sandwich, and we have an emotion evoking experience. And it's very, it's science, it's physics, it works when you get the formula.
Yes, it's physics. It's actually, there's a reason. I mean, it's
Yeah.
scientific.
Yeah, it is. It's like, the morphogenic fields of consciousness, of energy. Yeah.
Well, everything is energy. That's what we are always told. And so keeping our energy and frequency and vibration, that's what Tesla always talked about. If you want to know the universe, you must know that.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. And to really understand it so that you can use it. Otherwise, if it's just words in your head, it's not going to be, what we actually do.
right.
We have to embody things and actually utilize these things. So I really, another thing, I just want to add this because it's really important. And that is for us to believe in ourselves. You know what I mean? I mean, in a way, we know we have these powers, but we're almost like little fawns just starting to walk because, our consciousness was suppressed and oppressed. And now we're sort of waking up to our power, but we're, a little wobbly on our legs right now. And we just need to learn a little bit more about believing in ourselves. So I'm going to find this one because it came to me. So I think it's meant to be. And it is called Believe in Yourself. And it's sort of funny. And I like funny things, as you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, funny things raise your vibration. That's good to make you laugh, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yep, it does. It wasn't planned, so I'm just finding it right now. I'm gonna have to look it up in the so you can say something while I'm looking up.
Already.
Mhm.
Well, I was just thinking how important it is that people have to realize that their imagination, something that has also been suppressed through education and schools and so on. You can't sit and look out the window and be thinking of something else, and that's a very important aspect of our human ability to create things is when we can focus on it and envision it and see like creating pictures that we see it. And we were never taught those things.
Mm, yep,
It's
yep.
just like the whole field of health is changing drastically as well. And finally, accepting energy medicine, which utilizes frequency, vibration, light, sound, all those
Oh,
things.
yeah. Light is really light is consciousness. Consciousness is light, and everything is made out of consciousness and made out of light. Yeah. So I don't know why I'm not finding it here. I might have to read a different one, but the other one that I saw is really appropriate, and it's called Peaceful Paradise, and that's what we are visioning right now. Page 2.
Yes, that's beautiful because we have been at
Mhm.
war forever.
Yeah.
Through our corrupt politicians and so on, and billionaires. I mean, the corporations don't get off scot-free either because it's a combination of the two of them collaborating and working together, which is
Right.
exactly why humanity needs to put a stop to this.
Absolutely. Yeah, that infiltration instead of invasion thing is really true. And that's why, the institutions and so forth that we counted on as our, structure of society, is all breaking down. And that's why we're going into the new paradigm. And that's why we're going into, um, what is it? The changing of the guard, where the meek will inherit the earth. And that is what's happening. That is what's happening. So, okay, so here goes. This one is Peaceful Paradise.
I just found it too.
This is our Peaceful Paradise. Ah, we're in heaven on earth, that's for sure. Like the energy in nature, it seems so pure. Take a deep breath, it seems so refreshing. We're living in harmony, all energies meshing. Now everyone loves and gets love in return. We're living in peace. The tables have turned. We don't have to do anything. We can just be. We love each other unconditionally. We've all worked so hard to discard our old stuff. We said, no more misery. We've had enough. Nobody stands for anything except for the truth. The whole world is free, even our youth. Greed is absolved. We all have enough. All tummies are full. No more times that are tough. We play and enjoy our unique creativity. We've opened up to our inner sensitivity. The truth has revealed a great understanding, the love within unity and awareness expanding. No more secrets or lies, pollution or war. We've peeled all the layers and reached the core. At last, each inner child has been freed. Our Father, Mother, God meets every need. We experience the oneness of God's presence. We've realized the purity of our very essence. We've ushered in a new age of peace. With love, we've helped our joy to increase. With bright sunny days and feeling so light, we celebrate life all day and all night.
Well, that's a nice vision.
That's a nice vision. I think that, we all have our different ways of expressing heaven on earth, in our vision and in our speech, using the power of the spoken word. And I really think that we're working together, even if we don't know each other, even if we're not speaking together. People, our souls are being activated, our DNA is being activated, and there's a lot of love in the world. And if we pay attention to the love and all the good things that are happening, and stay strong, stand in freedom, stand for the truth, and stand for our freedom, and not let anyone bowl us over, because we are very strong, and especially together. So let's stick together.
Yes. And the truth will set you free. And it's really true.
That's right.
There's a lot of truth in that. So that's something to keep in mind. Well, I think that'll be our visionary talk for this week. And I want to thank you so much for your time and energy and wonderful poetry and prose. And it really, it sticks with you because it's enlightening, like you say, as you read it. I mean, it's nice. It's a
and
good
the messages come really from pure truth, and they were, I guess you could say almost, prophecy, because I was writing about things that have more relevance now than they did, many years ago. Because at the time I wrote this, I saw the future of institutions breaking down. They were not breaking down at the time I wrote it, actually.
Well, what's interesting about that, sometimes people see down different timelines, even if they don't think of it in that, capacity. But one of the guys that I interviewed, Drake Bailey, he saw down a timeline back in 2012 of what's happening today with the arrests. He talked about mass arrests, and even though we're not exactly seeing it on mass media at this point in time, it may have been on Fox News. If that's true, they just can't hide it anymore.
No, and all that, everybody gets pieces of the puzzle. That is part of the changing of the guard. And us waking up to our empowered, higher consciousness, humanity, being conscious creators, that's what, this book helps people go, hey, I'm powerful. I'm going to take my power back, and together we're powerful. And so, it sort of feeds your soul and makes you feel stronger in a way.
Oh, definitely. And the other thing that's actually in this entire time in history is we're saving our own children as well. Rescuing children.
Yes.
So
I wrote about that in my other book. I think, well, actually, we haven't done that one yet. We did Forever Free in this book. And the next book maybe we could do is the one called Live Love, Master Vision and Vibration to Create a Better World. And I would start with that poem at the end. Check it out. And it's called about the victory of the light, but it does talk about rescuing children and what we've awakened to. But we're solving all that, but we have to really care about the children. I think you just got muted.
I just unmuted me. Anyway, there was some commotion here, so I muted myself because I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying. And that is some very nice closing words. So why don't we'll call it a wrap this week, and we'll be back with more.
Thank you very much for having me, and I really enjoy our conversation, and it feels very uplifting.
And that's what we need. And people need to use their imagination and envision our new earth. It's as we're making it happen. And that's why I have a very earthy, beautiful pictures created by Jim Warren that show a lot of beauty in what a new earth can look like too. So let's create heaven on earth, everybody.
Heaven on earth. Here we go.
Commence to imagining that.
That's right.
All right. We'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.
We have found our way. It's a brand new day, and we'll be making history. Are you with me? Won't you stay? We have come so far. This is who we are. And like the rising sun, we have just begun to play our part. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show our colors. We are heroes and dreamers. We are restless believers. Stronger than ever, never say never. Don't look back now, don't look back now. Rise up, stand with each other. We are sisters and brothers, finding our place and running the race. We'll take our chance and seize the moment. Hold on tight and don't let go of all your hopes and dreams that light the way. We control our fate. Destiny awaits. We are all the actors in the stories we create. Hope will be our guide. We'll no longer hide. When we roll like thunder, feel the wonder from inside. This is the time we form the chorus. Lift your voice for those before us. We can rely on one another. Feel the pride, let's show